Texas Ingenuity, the Galveston Seawall, and beyond. Galveston is a city in Texas, down by the Gulf of Mexico. And so it's a city that has a beach on it and an ocean view. Some of you might have visited Galveston before. I've definitely been there before. Alrighty, perhaps you have visited Galveston, a great vacation spot in the coastal plains region. And maybe you've seen the seawall that stretches 10 miles down the beach. It's hard to believe that Galveston was nearly wiped out by the deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history, the Great Storm of 1900. In 1890, Galveston was the largest city in Texas because of its busy port. A port is where goods, like products that we use in stores or purchase or that manufacturers need, ships come and bring them into the port and unload them. So in Galveston was the largest city in Texas because of its busy port. But on September 8th, 1900, a hurricane swamped Galveston. More than 6,000 people were caught off guard and drowned in a 15-foot wave. It's a lot of people. However, Texans have always been known for their ingenuity, finding inventive ways to solve problems. So if you were using context clues there, and you didn't know what ingenuity meant, the sentence defined it for us. It means finding inventive ways to solve problems. The city leaders built a seawall 17 feet high and 3 miles long. It's a big wall, eh? They also had sand dredged from the ocean floor, so they pulled it up from the ocean floor and raised the level of the entire city by moving the buildings on top of the sand. The efforts were so successful that when a similar hurricane struck in 1915, only 8 people from Galveston died. That's a lot less than 6,000. The seawall helped Galveston weather many storms. But on September 13th, 2008, waves from Hurricane Ike washed over Galveston Island from the bay side, flooding the city again. President George W. Bush declared an emergency in Texas, which helped thousands of people leave before the hurricane struck. Hurricane Ike caused much property damage and concern about future storms. Once again, Texans are stepping up to the challenge. Dr. Bill Merrill of Texas A&M University at Galveston has designed a proposal called the Ike Dike. This plan includes floodgates and sand-covered dunes with hardened cores to protect cities like Galveston and Houston. Alicia Cahill, Galveston's public information officer, says, "The seawall did its job, but Ike triggered a significant evaluation of coastal protective measures." So sometimes you try to solve a problem and you solve it enough for the problems that you've seen so far, but a bigger problem comes. Obviously, Hurricane Ike was much bigger and the seawall was not able to handle it. The seawall did its job, but Ike triggered a significant evaluation of coastal protective measures. Some people are concerned about the cost of this project and what it might do to the environment. So Texans are studying the best ways to deal with future hurricane threats. That's Texas ingenuity. Okay, I want to show you a map. So here we have the United States up here and Mexico. And oftentimes hurricanes, they'll brew out here in the ocean, and they always travel clockwise because of the direction of the ocean currents and the Coriolis effect. So hurricanes will brew and they'll come across here and they'll enter the Gulf of Mexico, and oftentimes they'll start turning upwards towards Texas here and hit right here where Galveston and Houston are. So if we zoom in, we can see that Galveston is right here, and Houston's not that far off. So Houston is often affected as well by hurricanes. Alrighty, let's watch this video.
What forms only over warm ocean waters can create winds up to 150 miles per hour, but moves over the water at only 10 to 20 miles per hour, can be up to 600 miles across, cause flooding up to 18 feet deep, destroy homes, and even kill? If you said a hurricane, you were right. Depending on where you are on the earth, a hurricane can also be called a typhoon or cyclone. How strong they are and how much damage they can cause is measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most severe. A hurricane can last up to a week before it eventually dies out. Hurricanes are one of the most deadly natural forces on the earth. Scientists know what causes them, but do not know how to prevent them. Hurricane hunters, who are part of the Air Force Reserve, have airplanes equipped with special scientific instruments that they fly through a hurricane. The data they collect is sent to the National Hurricane Center, where meteorologists look over the information and predict the path of the hurricane and how dangerous it is. By doing this, they can warn people living in the path of the hurricane and give them time to move to safety. Hurricane season is from June 1st to November 30th. Ocean water must be 80 degrees or above and wind speed and air pressure just right in order to create the perfect environment for a hurricane to form. Hurricanes do not happen everywhere in the world, only in places where ocean water can be warm. In the United States, the eastern coast is where hurricanes have mostly occurred. A hurricane has an eye, which is its center and the calmest part of the storm. On the edge of the eye is the eye wall. This is where clouds are heavy and full of ocean water. Outside of the eye wall are the rain bands. Hurricanes rotate counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere of the Earth and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. You probably know hurricanes have names, but who decides these names? The World Meteorological Organization has that job, and depending on where the storm is located in the world, has a certain set of names to choose from. If a hurricane does a lot of damage,